Hi, we're just coming up to a long weekend here in the UK. So time to fire off. I'm winding down to the weekend. Time to fire off another YouTube vid. And here's one of my lockdown purchases that I've sort of been meaning to do a YouTube video about ever since I got it, but never really got around to it because I wasn't quite sure what to say. It's a Marsoar Glide Gimbal, obviously. Here's the box it came in. And if you look at the back, it lists various things which it is capable of. Object tracking, maximum 8 hours, time-lapse, facial tracking, orientation switch, zoom, photo timer, pan shot, Bluetooth control, because there is of course an app that comes with it for both Android and iOS, but there are serious limitations. Now the device does what I want it to, what I bought it for, but that doesn't mean that all these work at all, and I'll show you why. It is in fact very limited, so if you buy the device if you want all of these features, there's a good chance you might be out of luck. And I'm going to show you why, even though I'm happy with it. It only costs, I say only, but it costs £55, I think, 58 maybe, which is, very cheap by gimbal standards at the time that I bought it. And as I say, I'm happy with it. It does what I want to, but it is also limited, especially compared to the claims on the box. So first thing we'll get rid of straight away is Android. Let's have a look at Android. Right, here is the Android phone mounted in the Glide, and here is the Marsoar app, and it just won't launch. This is an Umidigi A7 Pro and the app simply won't launch, so you can't connect to your actual gimbal and use all the controls with Bluetooth. But it does work in this sense, in that you can walk around with it and it'll stabilise, because that's the physical part of the gimbal working. But we have a problem, and this is replicated with iOS as well, in that if you switch to portrait, it turns away from me, it becomes completely unusable. It's at that angle anyway. So portrait is completely useless. And yes, I have configured it a million times. Oops. Alright. You see, this is odd behaviour, is it not? Right. Let's try to get back to landscape one more time. There we go, it's back in landscape. Putting it in portrait, and as I say, I've configured it a million times, it just doesn't work. Now that doesn't affect me because I'd never shoot video in portrait mode anyway. It's horrible. So even with the Android, I could use the onboard camera app, record video. The Marsoar will still act as a gimbal, but I just won't have access to all the little features that were available with Bluetooth connection to the app, because the app won't run. Okay, here is in iOS, and this is the Marsoar app. It connects to my iPhone 10 fine in iOS. Right, can you see, right, this Android phone has got terrible video capabilities. You can see it focus hopping. I'll try and move it a bit further away. And it works fine. But again, so you have all the options available to you because it's connected to the Bluetooth. But again, I say it's a major problem, but it's not really a major problem because I have no intention of filming video in portrait mode. I think they're terrible. But if you switch to portrait mode, you get exactly the same thing in that it is nowhere near vertical. So I'm going to switch back to landscape. But you do get, through these switches, you do get access. And again, I'm sorry for the focus hopping. You do get access to all the features of the Glide. Now, I'm not sure, to be honest, how useful any of them are, apart from face tracking. If I wanted to talk to camera while I was walking along the street or something. Right, here's some footage I shot during lockdown at the length of my hair, testing the face tracking. And as you can see, it actually works fine. I'm very conscious about my hair. And object tracking. So if I was filming a parade or something like that, I could object track. Which I suppose those two are valuable. The rest of them, the zoom available on it, it's just an optical zoom, so just ignore that. You can switch to camera mode and take photos. That's fine. It'll stabilize your photos. The other things I just simply have no interest in using. What I'm going to be using this for, my own personal use, is just filming the parades and things that go past the house here. You know, all the Tewkesbury events, maybe some of the festivals, all of which, being 2020 of course, it has have all been cancelled until this year. I must admit, I didn't realise how much I enjoyed them all, how they mark the passage of time and what have you. Real shame, real awful year, isn't it? But of course they've all been cancelled, so I haven't had a chance to try it out on a parade yet. I have got some footage from walking around the block, which I used in another video, but I'll show you again now with both the iOS 10 and the Android device not connected via Bluetooth, but just physically working, stabilizing. And that is really all I've got to say about the Marsoar. It cost me 50 quid. It'll do what I want it to. Right? But some of the advertised features aren't worth it, like the zoom. And it's pretty gimmicky. You can control it sort of left to right with this button on the zoom here on the handle, but why not just I don't know. It's okay. It's worth 50 quid to me for what I'm going to use it for. But another thing they should tell you, unless you're doing something like filming a parade or something like that, I have never felt so self-conscious as when I was walking around with this thing, using it in the streets, and I was getting filthy looks and God knows what, from people who didn't want to be filmed, obviously, which, I don't want to do if they don't want to be filmed. And you just feel so self-conscious. I felt just extremely self-conscious. So although I'll be using it for, filming parades and what have you, that's fine, because then it looks more normal. I mean, I won't be sort of hoiking it around, as an everyday thing. Was it worth 50 quid? Yeah, sure. To me it was. If you bought it for all those other features, you might be a bit disappointed, to be honest. It's a basic gimbal. It works. I'm happy. I can see other people not being quite so happy, but there you go. Okay, well, that's all I got to say about it, really. I took so long to make the vid because, there isn't a lot to say about it. It does what I want to, and all the other stuff that is sort of irrelevant to me, I don't really have much to say about it. Face tracking works. That's fine. That'll suit me. That'll do me. As long as it stays level, evened out, nice and smooth, I'm happy. Okay, well, thanks very much indeed for watching once again. I'll see you next time. As a little bonus, here's some pages from the manual which you can read if you pause the video. Okay, thanks. See you next time.